All right, Matthew Stafford is the quickest to reach 40,000 passing yards in NFL history. Let's talk about what it means. Congratulations to Stafford on that accomplishment. But it really doesn't mean much, right? Not because he isn't a great player. Not to diminish what he's done, but when you don't win anything and you have that record that he has against winning teams, it doesn't mean much. It's shallow. It's superficial, And it's a great accomplishment. Don't get me wrong, but it's not an accomplishment that's going to put him in the Hall of Fame. But we back, Mercy Sports Talk. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the videos, and kind of like Lomas Brown. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some people in the comment section saying, if you would have blocked better, what you mean? The man was all pro 6 times. You know what I'm saying? And, being in Detroit and playing for the Fords, it kind of diminishes what you do. You're not on national television as much as you like. They don't put the players around you that you need to grow. And it's not a Matthew Stafford specific issue. It's an organizational issue. And it's fitting that Matthew Stafford get 40,000 passing yards and he accomplishes this on the heels of Lomas Brown saying he ain't in the Hall of Fame because he played with the Lions and they didn't have success. And people will say, well, Matthew Stafford is the most accomplished quarterback in Detroit Lions history. And what does that really mean? Because Bobby Lane won championships. He might not have had the yards. He might not have had the touchdowns, but he won. Matthew Stafford hasn't won anything here, and it's not his problem. It's not his fault completely. Of course, he holds responsibility. Wins and losses fall on the shoulder of franchise quarterbacks who makes hundreds and hundreds and millions of dollars. That's just what it is. And at the end of the day, people can continue to protect him and say, oh, it's the organization, and I completely agree. The Fords have failed Matthew Stafford. You know what I'm saying? And I feel if Matthew Stafford was in a different situation where he had a GM that would have drafted better before he got here with Millen, he had a GM that would have drafted while he was here with Mayhew Lewan, I feel if he had a guy like Bob Quinn from the beginning, maybe he'd be better off. But when you don't win a playoff game, when you have that record versus teams above 500, it's nothing. It's kind of like the guy that has the chains, that has the rings, that has the Jordans. He got the flashy designer pants, the Balmains. He got the Gucci sweater, the Louis sweater. Or he got the dope ride. He got the Benz, or he got the Maserati, or he got the Lamborghini. Ladies, you want to date him. But guess what? You go home, you pull up to his mama house. You go home, you pull up to his apartment or his house, and he ain't got no furniture. He ain't got no couch, no bed. His TV on the floor. He sleeping on the air bed. It looked good. You know what I'm saying? It looked good on the outside. He playing the game well. He riding the wave well. But when you get inside the game, when you get beyond the waves, you go into the ocean, it's nothing really there. It's nothing of substance there. And that's what Matthew Stafford is. All stats, but no victories. Troy Aikman's stats don't compare to Matthew Stafford's stats. But Troy Aikman got into the Hall of Fame. Why? For one, it was a different era. They didn't throw the ball as much as the era. And also, you can play defense and you can beat the receiver up downfield. But Troy Aikman got three rings. Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones put a team around him. He had Emmett. He had Michael Irvin. He had that defense. He had the great wall up front. Larry Allen and the rest of those dudes up there. He had a great team around him. And it takes a great organization to win playoff games. It takes a good organization to win playoff games. It takes a great organization to win Super Bowls. Now, had they drafted better, had they figured out how to run the ball better, had the Fords and the Lions figured out how to put the right people around him, this problem started a decade or two before Matthew Stafford got here. Through the 90s, them not doing enough of getting the right guys. going with Scott Mitchell when they should have kept Eric Kramer, not putting the guys around Barry, then after Barry, drafting Joey Harrington, drafting all those receivers over like DeMarcus Ware and, drafting Ernie Sims when you knew he had all those head problems. You know what I'm saying? Not drafting guys to fit a system. All this happened before he got here. People forget he started was a starting quarterback for old 16 team. But when you go into the Hall of Fame resume, when he retire, he will be going down in the NFL as one of those forgotten guys. People going to look back at his stats 20, 30 years after he retired or after he gone. They going to look and say, damn, Stafford did all of this, but why they don't talk about him? For one, he playing Detroit. And they don't want to talk about Detroit. They just want to talk about Chicago, L.A., New York. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to talk about the San Diego or L.A. Chargers. They don't want to talk about Indianapolis Colts. The only reason to talk about them is because the Peyton Manning was there. Outside of that, you got to go back to like Johnny Unitas in that organization. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to talk about Cleveland. You don't hear them talking about Bernie Kosar. They don't want to go back and talk about nothing. They don't want to talk about Baltimore, really. They don't want to. They want to talk about Dallas, Pittsburgh. They want to talk about the teams they feel that built the foundation and got the biggest fan bases. So to be talked about, you got to go out there and win. And his degree of difficulty in the NFL to win was higher than anybody else in the league. You name it. Nobody stepped into a situation that he stepped into with owners that didn't support him. Owners that continue to put the stupidest people in place. They gave Mary Mayhew and Tom Lewine a raise. They gave them a raise. Or a promotion, excuse me. They was working with Matt Millen. They didn't fire everybody in the building. People see Rob Marinelli gone. They seen all these people gone. They didn't fire everybody in the building. Mary Mayhew and Lewine got a promotion. They finessed Mr. Ford into getting a promotion. Ain't that crazy? They didn't clean out the organization. And this is who Matthew Stafford had. He had to go to Matt Millen's B team. So when you look deeper at Matthew Stafford's winning woes, it ain't Stafford. Of course, he go out there, he the figurehead, he make the most on the team, he go out there and do this, that, and third. The organization failed Matthew Stafford. And that's what it is. But his 40,000 means nothing. He can go out there and throw 100 touchdowns in the season and don't win a playoff game. It ain't gonna mean nothing. He broke the record, and what did it amount to? A loss. Was it on his fault? Not all of it. A small portion of it was on Patricia and the defense today. But guess what? He threw for 40,000 and lost. Isn't that fitting? And it's very, very unacceptable how this franchise has let him down. They destroyed Barry's career. They destroyed Calvin's career. And now they're going to destroy Matthew Stafford's career and legacy. And it's very, very unfortunate that it means absolutely nothing. That a guy who he probably lapped over in yardage, he lapped over in touchdowns like Troy Aikman, he laps over in stats like Terry Bradshaw, he laps a guy like McNabb who thinks he deserves to get in. He laps a lot of guys over and over and over again. But he don't win. And people say, well, that's an organizational thing. No, when you talking about quarterbacks get in the Hall of Fame. You got to have some stats. You got to have some weight there. But they get off the Hall of Fame off of victories. Why is Eli Manning going to get in the Hall of Fame? Because of the 2 Super Bowl wins. Not that he led the league in interceptions like 3 times. He going to get in. He's going to get in because of the victories. So if Matthew Stafford plan on getting into the Hall of Fame, he better get a Super Bowl victory or get something to hold weight in Detroit. And that don't look like it's coming. But hey, Smart City Sports Talk, it's a great accomplishment for him, but it means absolutely nothing because he doesn't have the accomplishments in a team victory statistical box for it to matter. But hey, don't forget we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out to the email if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request. Keep sharing the videos. Appreciate the love, support. Want to make a donation? Links description. Best way to donate. Share the video one time for the one time.